All right, so here's bonus footage for the mushroom tutorial. I'm out for a hike in my woods, and look at this. Now, these are shelf brackets that were growing, oh, there's my finger. We're growing this way when the tree was vertical, and then the tree fell down, but they kept growing, so now these shelf fungi are growing sideways, and these would be what they call perennial, so they'd be growing over the course of multiple years. So that is truly bizarre and something I've never seen before. So there you go, a first for you on Gitsapalooza. Here we are with some more cool fungi coming out of the log. That bottom shelf that bracket's big. That's got to be 10 inches across at the bottom there. You can see they're kind of, they're brown. I don't know what they're going to look like on the camera, but they're very tawny, they're brown. They've got these flecks as they go along. These are beautiful. And let me see if I can figure out what's underneath. It looks like pores instead of, well, you can't really tell, but I think those are pores. They're certainly not gills. So I will figure out what these are. I think I can do that. All right, my wife found something cool. This is just a little twig, but look at all the amazing fungi that are all along it. We're looking, I think, at the bottoms. So this twig would have been pointing up, and all these little crevices and things are where the spores would come out and then fall to the ground or get blown by the wind until they found somewhere else to go. And this is our own little creek. Unfortunately, it only runs when we've gotten a lot of rain. Usually it's dry. But I love having my own little creek. Even if there's nothing living in it, really, it's just for looks. This is a cool fungus called Ganoderma applanatum, or something closely related. They call this the artist conch because, as you can see, number one, it's woody, so you can pop it off and it'll stay around forever. But the bottom here, you can scratch that with a stylus and it'll stain brown. So people will take these, harvest them, and then draw on this white part here. And then their drawings will stay on the fungus forever. And it's, well, you know, effectively forever. So it's very cool. All right, for all you mushroom hunters out there, this is something you do not want to confuse with a morel. This is called a false morel, belongs to the genus Gyromitra. This is actually much bigger and broader. That's probably 6 inches across, and it's not conical like a typical morel would. They sprawl out like this. I don't know that they're all poisonous, but they're not good eating. They probably make you sick. But Alec found this, my youngest son, so that's really awesome. Here we have a moss, and all the little brown things are called operculum. And that is one of the moss's reproductive structures. Very pretty. Bluebells. Some native Wisconsin wildflowers called bluebells. We'll take a closer look. And that's why they're called bluebells. They look like little bells, and they're blue. The biggest woodpecker in North America is called the pileated woodpecker, and we have them. And this is what they can do to a tree. They don't hit rapidly like you may be used to hearing woodpeckers hit. They use their bills like a crowbar, and they jam it in, and they twist their head, and they rip out chunks. I mean, look at the debris. That all generated by a woodpecker. Look at the size of those chunks. And it's almost ripped this tree in half. Look at this. Look at how much trunk loss there is in that area. Look at that. Oh my gosh, I didn't even see that. It's crazy. Here's another native Wisconsin plant. It's called Jack in the Pulpit. And the reason is because the flower, and yes, it looks like a leaf, but it is a flower. But it's like a little pitcher with the flowering part sticking up. And it folds over like an old-fashioned pulpit. And for those of you not used to living in the forest or frequenting forests, this is what a deer trail looks like. This is mainly the does and the fawns that create these big heavy paths. The bucks have a tendency to wander specifically to make themselves as invisible as possible. The big bucks are really good at it. That's how they got to be big bucks in a land full of hunters. Here we are at the treasure trove of mushroomdom, according to my wife. This looks like an old dead elm tree, and I've got these giant foliotas, or whatever they are. They're a foot across, some of them. They're really, really impressive.
Wife's hand for comparison.
Wife's hand for comparison, so you can see how big they are. And then if you want to see what the insides look like, or what the bottom, somebody gave us a nice cross section here. And you can see the underside there, all those little prickles, sorry for my wavering hand, is where the spores form. And it is just massive, and along with the giant foliotas, or whatever they are, we have two more false morels. It's funny that we came here looking for morels. We've gotten totally skunked. Haven't seen any morels, even though I know they're in season because I've seen pictures from folks in the area putting them up for sale and showing off their catches on Facebook. All we get are the non-edible false morels, but they're still cool. So there you go. And as an extra bonus, we have a little group of mushrooms. I have no idea what these are, but you can see them coming up in a group. We'll come back in a day or so and take a look and see what they are, other than cool, because, you know, they're cool. All right, I pulled up one of the false morels because there's plenty, so I'm not worried about, you know, damaging the population. But that's what they look like. So white stems, brown top. It's all one big convoluted mess. But that's a false morel. This may be Alex's last awesome find of the day. These, I'm tapping the wrong branch. These are jelly fungi. Watch them bounce. So I have no idea if this particular group is edible. I wouldn't try it. I am not into eating fungi unless I know exactly what they are, which for a former mycologist may give you a little hint on how excited you should be about eating mushrooms that you just happen to see in the forest. But these are really cool, and they bounce. How cool is that? All right, Alec, the Wunderkinds came through again. I actually made these and was planning on doing a tutorial for my Micro tutorials. This is Elf Cap or Scarlet Cup. These are brilliantly colored. They're almost fluorescent. They're in a group called the Ascomycetes, and I was hoping we would find some of these cup fungi as they are spring. I don't know if you can see that. Oh, there was spores coming off of that after I hit it. There were these little white clouds. Oh, I don't see it anymore, but it was really cool. So, anyway, these are Sarcocyphas, the genus, and I'm going to be showing you how to make these little guys in a little bit. And I'll probably include this section of the video along with the tutorial.